So once upon a time, I was that struggling entrepreneur. As I said, I was a television reporter for 10 years. It's YNN now. I worked for them when they were News 10 Now in the Syracuse area. And I was unhappy. I didn't love it at all, you know? So I decided I had this dream and this passion, my big why. I really wanted to help guide others through struggle. And when I knew that, I didn't know what that meant. You're looking at what it means right now. And that means helping women entrepreneurs with their business, with that stuckness. Moving them from a 4-figure income to a 6-figure income. I've done it myself. I've seen it happen. Because it's possible. And I became very passionate about that. Very, very passionate. But I mean, I was in a place where I struggled to make money. Right? I struggled in my growth. This was the first workshop I ever did. It was at Ophelia's Place in Liverpool, New York, with a fellow. She was a life coach, and an LCSW. And we got 12 people in the room with a grassroots campaign, and that wasn't bad. You know, so, but I mean, like any of us, I had a beginning. How about that skirt? I can't wear those boots either. They're high heels. I can't do it. And they were killing me by the end of this day, but this was my first speaking engagement. I started as a speaker. That's why I love this. Like, you can't tell, right? I love taking whatever energy and fire is within me and injecting it in people, because that's what this is all about. It's about sharing, right? So I got really high on it. Plus, I mean, I was a theater major in college. It's what I love. So I wanted to fill that passion, and I would spoke to any group that would hear me. This is Keuka College. I've spoken there quite a few times. And really just was loving that energy, that 150% kept knocking me on my butt. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. When you're doing what you love and you're full, it's amazing. I had a crappy logo once. I may or may not have stolen that image from the internet. And I tried to doctor it and alter it, you know. I mean, but this is our beginnings, and I show this to you because when we see people that are in a place on their journey that we want to be, we often feel defeated. And we forget that they had a beginning too. So that's kind of what mine looked like. That's my logo today. I mean, I even had, I don't know why I had this, but I had a screenshot of my first website. So someone said, can you scroll? And I can't. So I must have taken this for a reason. But I called myself a transformational speaker and scribe. And I had a subdomain name, which means I built my free website with webs.com, and my address was jdesr.webs.com. There wasn't a search engine in this universe that could find me. But I had a website. I kept going. I had a presence, and I knew I mattered. This was what I made the first year I was in business. I made $8,000. Now that's not too bad. You know, for a startup business, I know some people do better, but this is what I made. And half of it was freelance writing. I wrote for 3 different magazines. I wrote for howto.com. I don't even know if that's out there anymore, is it? I wrote for a winery in Watertown, New York. I was their PR person. I wrote all their stuff. They paid me great. I couldn't believe it. So only half of that was from actually standing up here doing what I'm doing right now. My second year was a little better. Still kind of sad about it, though. $12,000. I took my retirement, by the way, from Time Warner Cable to do this. So that was my piece of investment. I paid my bills off so that my husband was not responsible. I said, this is my gig. You're not going to take me. I got this. If I absolutely can't do it, fine. But I kept going with the mindset, I got this. Even though I didn't know what that boat ride would feel like, I just knew I had to keep going. So then I earned my certification in strategic intervention. So that means I was trained to help people with interpersonal conflict. I got my first client, was a guy who was addicted to porn. I'm just putting it out there. That's what I had to deal with. And my salary went up by a whopping $900. And I looked at my husband, Mark, and I said, I don't want to be a coach. I don't want to do this, you know, because you're close. I was so close, but I didn't exactly know what it was I wanted to do. And lots of us are out there. It's like this big circle, and there's all these knots of all these talents and passions we have, and we're trying to figure out how to make it clear, how to bring it full circle. And how that happens is you just keep going. And people will tell you, they will let you know, you will meet people that will somehow, in some way, even if it's inadvertent, and it typically is, you're on the right path. I think the second time I spoke in front of a crowd, I sucked. I thought I did. I had my note cards. This woman came up to me and she said, you keep doing what you're doing. That's all I needed to hear. So this became, you have to imagine how exhausted I was after 3 years. I was tired. I didn't know how to make it grow. I was scared. And I decided I needed, that's Michelle Arbor. Michelle is right here. Michelle is Social Savvy Media, if you go downstairs. She's down there. This was 2 years ago at the Women's Retreat. Tracy Higginbotham's retreat, and she asked me to be a speaker, which was a super big deal for me. And even though I was up on that stage in front of all these people, I still, it's like they couldn't hear me. It wasn't getting me ahead because I still didn't have that really important piece. How do I grow? Why am I not making money? I couldn't get ahead. People were hearing me. They were loving me, but they weren't engaging with me. What was I not doing? Because I'll say this right now. I don't want to say I did anything wrong. None of us do anything wrong. We just have to figure out how to do it better. That's it. So I decided, I made this decision that I had to get help because I no longer wanted to work that hard for so little money. And this is the piece right here where we freeze. So imagine you on a cliff, on the top of a cliff, and there's that big valley, and where you want to be is on the other side. And you know, the only way to get there is to get there. However you get there. Sometimes we actually travel down to that valley and we slide down and we get back up and we slide down, and that's the exhausting part. But there's a way to get to that other side that isn't exhausting. There are ways to do it that we don't even realize sometimes because we get so caught up in, I know enough. I don't need to know anymore. And I'll be honest with you, I was like, I got this. I go to all these Women's Ties events. I know everything. I know about marketing. I know about branding. I didn't know. I didn't. I only knew what was happening in conversation with people, right? But when they're an expert in their field, it's worth sitting down because here is what I know. I wouldn't be where I am right now. And I think I'm in a good place. I'm pretty damn happy. If it wasn't for the Tracy Higginbothams and the Michelle Arbors and the people who have faith in me and knew and saw my fire and my energy. And they saw me on my knees too, I'm sure. You know, when I fell apart. So I sought help. Now when I mean this can look like any other thing. I went and got a coach myself. For some people it's finding someone to do their website. Finding someone to do their social media so they understand it. They're accounting so they're not overwhelmed, so they can get out and sell their product. When we want control, and oh, that's me, it's hard to let go of it. But if you don't, you're not going to function in the full capacity that you have. So here's what I made in the first 5 weeks that I worked with a business coach, and that's no BS. I know it looks like an infomercial. Remember I said, 12-9. For 12 months it took me to get to that. Working with a coach and changing my strategy and shutting myself up and getting out of my own way, I made $13,000 in just 5 weeks. And this was using one tool, which is my gold nugget with when I coach. It's prospecting. And prospecting can happen anywhere. It doesn't have to happen in networking places. All it needs is communication, relationship. That's what I made after a year, one tool. Do you know I still get chills thinking about that? Because I'm still, this is nothing compared to where I will be, and that's confidence you hear right now. It's not about the money and driving a pretty car. It's about building what I have so I can share it with the women that I work with, that I create a relationship with, that I say, I got you. I got you, and we're going to do this. So this was, like I said, just using prospecting. And what I discovered with prospecting is there really is a language to it. So there's kind of two pieces. I believe you have to speak from your heart. It has to come from within. But there are pieces when it comes to sales and service that are just as vital. Like when you meet rejection, how do you handle it? What do you say when someone says, no, I'm just not interested? What do you do? Okay, bye. Because I made the choice to do things differently, and to take action, everything changes. Everything, massive transformation. I can't even begin to explain to you. I implemented what I was taught too. If my coach had told me to run down the street naked, I would have done it. Because I had that much faith. I knew it was possible. And I knew there were pieces of things I wasn't getting. So I invested in myself. And I never gave up. I got very comfortable being uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Oh, yeah.
Very comfortable being uncomfortable. To a point now where it's just, all right, here we go. I just made another huge investment in my business, and believe me when I tell you, sometimes I go, what? It's so uncomfortable. But I know it's the right thing to do because you see, I want to run a business. I don't want an expensive hobby. I don't want to struggle. I did that. I'm done. So I recognize it's about investing and believing and realizing that fear is going to be there. Take it with you. So this is what I do now. I make it my mission to study successful people, what works for them, and teach my clients what's working now. How many people here take advantage of a Facebook ad? Love it. But look how beautiful. Have you seen the power of them yet? Look how many people in the room aren't taking advantage of what's working right now. I have a client that is doing this right now. She's offering something, and she has over 200 people that are part of this thing she's offering nationally. No, internationally, I'm sorry. She works at home. She has a 2-year-old little boy. She has now officially made herself international. And we're not even done. We haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg. She's out there. Wait till you see what we do next. There's a whole world out there we're not tapping into because we won't get out of our own way. We become the information junkie, right? Do you know who that person is? You go into these seminars and all these things, and you hear all these great things that are going to work, and you take this information home, but then you don't implement it. Or you don't ask for further guidance so you can better implement it. I know when I first learned how to prospect people, my coach, I was on the phone with that person pretty much every day for the first 2 weeks. What went wrong? What did I do? How can I fix this? How do we do it this way? I was that dedicated. I was committed. There's a difference between interest and commitment. So when I say prospecting, I start working with someone, they'll be like, you want me to do what? What does that mean? And it doesn't mean just on the phone. I mean, for example, today we have a great opportunity to connect with people that may need our services. It's how you follow up with them that will make the biggest difference in your business. I can't tell you how many times I've handed people money and they haven't acted. And I'm telling you right now, I've reached out to them and they haven't responded back to me. I wanted to give you my money. More than once. It happened again recently. I was floored. I do have to step back because I recognize things do come up in people's lives. Things do happen. And they happen in mine too. So if I had to step on the soapbox for 1 second, I would say, if there's anything you take from here today, well, you're going to take a lot. But take this little piece as a side nugget. If someone reaches out to you and you can't get back to them right away, just let them know. Just let them know. I have a client whose accountant, 4 weeks she didn't hear from her accountant. I'm like, let her go. She's holding you back, let her go. Find someone that has a genuine interest in your growth. It's a partnership. Genuine interest in your growth where you drop everything. Not really, but you know what I mean. To say, you know what, I got this. Give me 24 hours. You know, I can't right now. Can you give me 3? And I'm not talking about giving up your life. Because when you're truly doing something you're passionate about and you love, everything shifts. And you recognize you're not selling, you're serving. Do you know? You're serving. Because it's within your integrity to share with people what you know. Does anybody know what this is? Really? Well, then I shouldn't be surprised because I didn't either. Yeah, it's this. Okay, so my girlfriend Jody, the one in the raft, she took my daughter one night because I had to be somewhere, and Maddie stayed for dinner, and she has 2 boys that are the closest age. And Maddie came home telling me about this tortilla basket, and they put all this different stuff in it, and she was all excited about it. And I'm like, what is this? I called Jody. I'm like, what is this? She's like, oh, they have them at Aldi's. It's called the Perfect Tortilla. I'm like, well, what do you do with it? You turn the oven on to 350, you take those flour tortilla rolls, you shove it in there, it comes out in this really cool shape. And basically what Jody did is she had a bowl of lettuce and tomatoes and chicken and beef and cheese, and the kids could put everything in, and I went, oh my gosh, where has this been? And this is true story. I was in Joleene Fabrics the next day, and I walked past an end cap, and it was there. I bought it. If Jody were the salesperson for this particular product, she sold me. Do you see what I mean? I didn't know this existed. I didn't know I needed it. And wow, pow, I bought it. It was $9.99. I highly recommend it. So why is there such a stigma around prospecting and picking up the phone? And let's be honest here. How many people are uncomfortable with following up? I know there's more of you. I know it. Here's the difference between sales and service. Sales is when the disingenuous part of you recognizes that your only goal is to get money. That's what sales is. That's that icky part. That's that sales car guy. Where there's not that trust factor that we talked about earlier. There's no trust. None whatsoever. Why on earth would you buy from someone you don't trust? I know that when I engage with people, there needs to be a comfortable relationship. There has to be that know, like, and trust factor. Otherwise, I'm not serving you, right? Service is when the authentic you realizes what they need. You know what? The internet keeps wanting to pop up. That's why. So service is when the genuine part of you realizes what the individual needs, and you tell them about it because it is your goal to serve. If you're sitting next to someone and you're going, and I'm sitting next to a chiropractor, and they're like, what's up? Oh, I got punched in the head once and I slipped a disc, which is a true story. When I was a reporter, popped right in the head. I would expect that person would be like, I can help you with that. I can help you with that. Why don't you come to my office? Let's work this out. I got some techniques I know will really work for you. Let's talk about that. And then I get this a lot. Can I use text and email to sell? Here's what I know. I get this question a lot, and I got it fairly recently from a client, and they said, I'm very successful selling via email. I said, oh yeah, what'd you make last year? And her head went down. She's like, yeah. If you're comfortable with that, good. If you want to keep getting what you get, stay where you are. Don't change anything. If you want something different, get out of your own way, right? This is why there's such a hang-up. It's part of it. I think the stigma is twofold. One is there's a stigma, right? When you put a stigma out there, it's like a buzz. So, everyone's afraid to pick up the phone and do follow-ups. So now when you become a new emerging business person, that stigma's there and it's kind of in your ear. That's half of it. The other half is there's a statistic out there somewhere. Don't you love it when people do that? There's a statistic out there somewhere that says you will hear the word no at least 18,000 times by the time you're 18. You will hear the word yes 8,000 times. No wonder. Rejection is not fun. Here's the great part about it. When you are selling your product, you have to hear those no's because they lead you to that yes. And the second piece is, your product's not for everybody. You want it to be for the people that were meant to have it, that will value you. I spoke with a woman 2 days ago. I mean, she's got this great concept and she's afraid to move it to social media outlets. And she's exhausted and she's burned out. But I did say, your belief is limiting you. You want all this time with your family, but you don't want to make a shift and try something that works. She emailed me today and she said, I would love to work with you. I would love to have you hold me accountable once a week at no cost. Do you think I'm going to do that? I'm going to tell you why. She won't see the value of what I give her. Not at all. And if she can't see the value in my service, she's not going to value her own, and that's where she is now. So she's not quite ready. Do you see what I mean? The person that buys from you, they have to value what you have and value you. You're part of that product. You sell it too. You have to let go of that stigma and you have to push through it anyway. Nike nailed it, people, you know? Just do it. It sucks. Sometimes it's painful. Francis said this morning, and it's true. You know you're growing when you feel the pain. You know when it hurts and it's frustrating you and you want to give it all up and throw yourself out of the boat. It's a really good sign. It shows there's a result on the way. When you experience resistance, that means the result isn't that far. So you got to put the heat on. You have to practice habituation with what you do. So prospecting, in other words, you have to get in the habit of following up. Because what happens when you have that much exposure to something, the fear is gone. Think about when you learned how to ride a bike. It was uncomfortable at first. The bike was wobbly, right? But the more you go, then you don't think anything about it. That's why you have to condition yourself to do it. That's psychology that says that. So habituate yourself to doing it. Expose yourself to it. Expose yourself to more people, right? It gets easier and easier. I've seen very closed people just come out of their shell because of habituation and authenticity. Who was it? Is she here? The young lady, is it Shartina? Saying it wrong. She did the branding. Sharina, she's not here. She made a really valid point. It's like, she said, are you going to work with people that are fake? Who here knows fake people, she said. We're all raising our hands. I know. You want to work with someone that's authentic. Otherwise, what's it for? Have you ever had a client in your business with your product or your service that you literally were like dragging, and it was painful to have them as a client? They weren't authentic, and quite frankly, neither were you. Because if you engaged with them, was it for money? Yeah. And I get it sometimes. Believe me, I've been there. You got to have the cash. You got to pay the mortgage. I get it. So know this. At least if that conscious thought is there, you're good. Right? Now, in the talking script, this is, I value this. This has moved mountains for me. I have found that we often don't know how to talk to people. And again, it's nothing that's wrong. It's just that learning. I still have so much to learn myself. So much. And I love it. I can't get enough of it. I am that information junkie, and I'm the implementation jockey. I move right into it. I play with it. How does this work? What can I do? I just recently surveyed every single person in my email list and asked them 5 questions so I could better serve them. I asked them what they wanted. How much would they pay for it? Would they be willing to hire me? Which tells me so much. Even if they say no, it still tells me much. It doesn't break my heart. It just tells me where they are. That was so valuable to me. Informational interviews. Have you ever called 5 of your clients to pitch something to them? Hey, look, I've got this new product I want to roll out, but I'm looking for your feedback. I value your feedback. Can you tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, would you like this to be this scent, or would you like jewelry that maybe has more blingy in it? And they'll tell you, well, I don't really like the bling. And no one's going to have the same answer. That's not the point. How much would you pay for it? Ask them that. Because that will tell you how they value your service and whether it's your target market or not. There are 3, everyone has an average thing. I look at it like this. There's 3 types of consumers that I can sell my product to, that we all can sell our product to. People that buy generic peanut butter, people that buy Jif, and people that buy organic. I personally would like to sell to the people that buy organic. Wouldn't you? And here's why. The people that buy the generic peanut butter, that's fine. But the people that typically purchase in that realm don't have much commitment. They're in, they're out, it's fast. The people in the middle, it's cool, it can go both ways. But still, the people that buy the organic, that's the people I want to sell to. I value that product. They value that purchase, therefore they value me. My husband just told me a story about the CEO who makes Lamborghinis. And I'm going to be a little off with this story. But he was being interviewed, and they make so many cars a year, and they're very, very expensive cars. And in the interview, the writer said, you know, what's been one of your biggest challenges? And the CEO said, well, I made 4 of these, like, what do you call it? It's like a special edition, thank you, special edition vehicle at $4 million each. And the author said, well, what has been the biggest challenge for you with that? And the author expected the answer to be that no one would buy the cars because they were so expensive. And the CEO's response was, The biggest challenge was I had to turn 8 people away that couldn't have that special edition car.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is happening to me.
Keeping it exclusive.
I have a Mac, maybe that's why. I did. Yeah, I keep hitting cancel. Or maybe because it's not moving enough. So this is just a tiny, tiny piece of the talking script that I made. And this is like when you're meeting people at a networking event like this, and you give them a call and you're like, you know what, it was so great to meet you. You must have, and what I'll do is when I'm in a speaking event, I follow up with people that I resonate with, and I say, what did you go there for? You must have gone there for something. Did you find that little nugget? Because here's what happens. People love to be heard. All of us, we love to be heard. So when you open the door and you let them talk, they'll go, yeah, it was great when Francis was talking, oh my God, he was so funny. And now you're engaging in authentic conversation. And then you start talking about your business, and I'll say, so what's your business? What do you do? I do social media. How is that? How is it for you? How long have you been in business? And they'll tell me, I'll say, so tell me, what would you say your biggest struggle is? So this is what works for me. And they tell me, and if I don't have to ask that question, I'll tell you the first one, they would have answered it already for me. Do you see? It's part psychology, because you have to be able to get on the level of the individual you're talking to, and you have to be authentic. So I will say when I'm talking to them, if I know that it's going to be a good partnership, I have some ideas and suggestions around that. I think I can help you. Why don't we just get together for a telephone call? I will give you an hour of my time. I'll give you these ideas. If you like what you hear and you want to know what it looks like to work with me, great. And I say that intentionally because I don't like bait and switch. So I let people know right away. There's an option for you if you're interested to move forward with me. Here's what I know. We will always struggle with uncertainty, all the time. It's just part of what's there. And as we wait for things to get more perfect so we can launch our business or a new product, we only put ourselves deeper in that place of uncertainty. I would love and I would be honored to guide you to that place of unstuckness, to the place where things can really change for you and you can do things differently. And I want to offer anyone in here a 1-hour strategic consultation where we will look at where you are now and where you want to be. If this interests you, Michelle has this little jar. Drop your card in it. And if we're a match, great. You'll hear from me. I would love to take you there. I get high from that. It's very fulfilling when I fulfill other people. So if you're interested in that hour, I will give you ideas and suggestions that can make massive transformation. Massive transformation right away. So when I say that you find this uncertainty, I will also say, find the gift, right? This is my house. So I live in Pulaski, New York. So we bought this house, and this house was built in 1890, and it's very solid, but it needs a lot of work. And so if you know anything about old houses, many of the bedrooms don't have closets. So I was on this mission to find an armoire. And the armoire, they can be pricey, and they're really hard to find. So we went to this benefit, my husband and I went to this auction for someone local who had ovarian cancer. And we were raising money to help her with their medical bills. And there was an armoire at this auction. And that's it sitting in the back of the auction house. It's a gentleman's wardrobe, this particular one. But I didn't care, because this is for my daughter's room. All I knew is that I could make it a closet, and it was exactly what I needed. It was beat up, and it needed love. Well, the auction part came, and you know how, like, when you're a wife, how you have to let the husband do things. And you don't necessarily trust that they're going to do it the way you want. A little control thing going on there. Well, he wanted to bid it. And I was like, okay, oh God, if he loses this, I swear I'm going to be so upset. Attachment, right? So he goes through the bidding process. I cannot believe what we got this for. Nobody was bidding on it. We got it for $70.
No kidding.
So $70. And here, when the auctioneer, they're like, that was a 70, but I'm just 70, 75, do I hear 75, do I 70? I thought somebody said 75, and I was like, 80! So I outbid my husband. Because I really wanted this armoire. So we got the armoire, and we brought it home, and and we were doing a lot of renovations on our house, so we chose a weekend, and he would refinish this, and he's never done this before, so I'm letting go again. He says he'll refinish this, and I'll paint the downstairs bathroom. Beautiful. So he's out in the garage, and our garage is attached. He's out in the garage, and I'm going to tell you, YouTube videos are awesome. Little marketing tip for you. Because he learned how to do this watching YouTube videos from the iPad in the garage. So he spent all weekend on it, sanding it, and we chose like a clear coat so the real natural colors came through. Took all the hinges off and everything. I'm excited because it's been in there for a couple of months and I just want to get it upstairs. And he's just got to put one more coat of the polyurethane on it. So he closes the garage up. It's Sunday. Monday the next day, 3 o'clock, I got to pick my daughter up from school. I go and I pick her up and I come home and I'm like, what's that smell? So I'm looking around, I'm smelling burnt wood. And all of a sudden I see smoke billowing out of my garage and my knees start to shake because there's gas in there. There's paint in there. There is another detached garage. There's one behind me and there's one to the side. I'm thinking this thing is going to blow. I have no idea how this started. Is it the electrical? You know your mind is going. I'm calling the fire department. My daughter is really upset. She starts crying because her bike is in there. Oh, what about my bike? I'm like, I call Mark, and I didn't want to call Mark. And he said he would have killed me if I hadn't. I said, Mark, the garage is on fire. What? The garage is on fire. And we are really lucky. We got great response time from the fire department. We lost one whole wall of the garage. And the whole time I'm like, they're hosing the garage down, and the chief comes over. He's like, everything's fine. The gas, we stopped. I said, the armoire, how's the armoire? We needed to know about the armoire. And he's like, I'm not sure. I'm like, did it catch on fire? I spent $80 for that thing. And so he said, well, let's just, clear it out. And this is, I told you, we're doing a lot of painting and renovating, so we had tons of paint cans. So this is the armoire. That's my husband. You can see that some of it got water damage. A firefighter, my husband, carried it up to the back of the porch, and we're wiping it down as quickly. Now, you talk about attachment. What a lesson for me. I'm attached to this giant piece of wood. But I had so much invested in it. I had searched for so long, right? So we're wiping it down, and it smells like smoke. We end up bringing it upstairs. The drawers are ruined. Mark's trying to force a drawer in. He tears up the whole bottom of one. The beautiful thing is the contractor who rebuilt our garage, that one section, is a cabinet maker. So he was able to write on the insurance claim, because we couldn't prove what it was worth. We bought it at auction for $80, right? So he was able to fix the drawers. And Mark was really upset, because here's what happened. Here's how the fire started. The cloths that he used with a stain, he put in a bag and he tied it and they combusted. He felt horrible because this could have been worse than it was. And I kept saying, there's a gift in this, there's a gift in this. I'm telling you there's a gift. He's like, well, it better come quick because he was so brokenhearted and he felt so bad. We lost a lot of stuff. But, it's that attachment thing. Nobody was hurt. That was gift number one. Gift number two, he said to me, there is actually kind of a gift in here. And I'm like, well, what is it? He said, here's the deal. When you and I met, we were both a mess. And we were. He said, when we walked into that auction house and we saw that armoire, it was a mess. It needed love and it needed a home. We brought it home. We gave it a place to be and we loved it. It experienced some pain and we pulled it through. That armoire is representative of us. And I was like, It was great, and the final gift was, that garage was a mess. ServPro came in, and so my husband was supposed to clean the garage. He didn't have to. ServPro took care of it. So even in the most difficult times in your business, in your life, find a gift. It's there. I promise you. And I encourage all of you today to go forth, dance a bit, explore your world, love your life, live with purpose. Thank you so much for your kindness.